guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite, my May hits, shits, and I guess she's lit. The title, I'm already fucking tired of the title, but you know what? It's here to stay for a while. I'm going to be in New York and I'm having a meet and greet. So if you didn't see my announcement video, check out this link here or just check out my last video. I'm going to start off with my May hits. So I've mentioned several times in several of my recent videos that my skin is just getting way too. Also, you might be wondering why I'm wearing this fucking mask. I got Troy Peel about on Monday. Today is Wednesday, and I actually don't. I'm in fucking doors. I don't know why I need this, but it's a concept. What is that fucking buzzing noise? My face is extremely red and it's peeling, so I need to. When I go out, I just kind of cover my face. So I was just out recently, so that's why my face is still covered. But I can't wash my face until Friday. So I'm looking a little crusty. As you guys know, I did kind of switch up my skincare routine to that, basically only using toner. This is the Etude House Sunjung pH 5.5 Relief Toner. If you haven't seen my video about kind of like the Korean skincare trend of using just toner to moisturize your skin by applying it 7 times, I'll link it up here. But this is an extremely mild toner, really good for sensitive, any skin type honestly, because it's good for sensitive skin. I think it's good across all boards. Great for dry skin because you're really moisturizing deep layers into the, really deep into the skin. Also good for oily skin though, because I feel like if you layer too many products, for some people that can exacerbate their oil. I think not just using this toner, but like that method of applying toner, like 7 times, 3, 5, or 7 times, it doesn't matter, has helped keep my skincare routine simple, but making sure that I do get that moisture that I do need. Because even though I have oily skin, I still like moisturized skin. Now I actually do have the other skincare stuff in that range, but it's gonna be in my kind of I guess she's lit category because they're not bad at all. It's just that I don't really gravitate towards them, but I will talk about them in a second. Me and Joan had a meet and greet, again sponsored by httt, a few weekends ago, and Miss Chue had a little demonstration about like skincare routine for the summer for like oily skin. And every time I see that lady do like skincare on someone, I rethink my entire skincare routine. Even though it's a skincare routine I've done before, it just makes you want to do it again. And this is not new to you guys at all, the Troy Arake Accent line of skincare products. I'll have a separate video soon about like my skincare routine for oily skin in the summer using this stuff. And I know you guys are tired of hearing about it, but I will definitely provide alternatives in that video. But for now, I am going to mention the skincare routine. It's still mostly that sort of like applying toner several times kind of skincare routine, but it's a little bit more souped up, and I find that it really does like my oil, especially if I do it like the day that I, even though that one other toner was helping me, my oil was a little bit more controlled. The first day that I did this routine that she demonstrated, I already noticed an immediate difference. And I don't know why, because I've used it before and I definitely count on these, but the way that she did it really it made an even bigger difference, I guess. But basically we got the oil cut cleanser, really extremely gentle, like a soft liquidy gel type of texture that I don't know what the hell's in there, but it has stopped my acne back when I first started using it about a year ago. I don't know what it does, but it helps control that oil. TOC toner, exactly what I look for in terms of like a toner that will help exfoliate the surface of my skin, help that skin turnover cycle, which is what the TOC stands for, kind of exfoliating chemically the top layer of like all the dead skin cells. And then the accent pore control mask, kind of like it's like one of those clay-based sort of masks that helps pull the oil out of the skin. But I think it's this combination, like the way she applied it, that really helps. So I'm going to explain more in that video that I mentioned, but it's really just the oil cut cleanser and the TOC toner that are like my base skincare for helping me prep my skin for the rest of my skincare, which is really just this. But the pore control mask I'll use twice a week to really help make sure my oil, my skin doesn't get too oily because of like the temperature. I finished it today actually. The Troy Arake Skin Complex formula. I use this basically in the same method that I mentioned, the Skin Relief Toner from Etude House. But I think because it's so much more moisturizing, I only need 5 layers of it. And it almost has like this sort of like really tacky feeling to the skin. Not forever, it's only like for a few minutes. But I can really feel my skin like maintaining and retaining the moisture without drying it out and like having it evaporate into the air. Definitely one of the things I noticed from the bottle is that when you spray it, the mist is not exactly super fine, but I was informed that it's because there's a certain ingredient there that really helps skin and moisture bind to the skin. It's because of that product that the mist is a little bit thicker, so it doesn't really matter to me because I do use it with either a cotton pad or just my hands, and I just pat into the skin. But that's been like my kind of go-to skincare routine more recently. End Lab, if you guys remember from the Beauty Beast days, they had a mild sun cushion, but I think it's the same thing, but they just repackaged it. But I don't know, I've been really into this, and it's just, you know, it's one of those cushions that's just like sunscreen in a cushion. They claim that it's supposed to have a cooling effect from the xylitol. Yeah, it's cooling. Doesn't really matter to me because, you know, people are like, oh my god, it's so cooling. But like the feeling lasts for like what, 2 seconds, and like what is it supposed to do for me in the long run? You know what I mean? I guess it has something to do with like cooling down the skin temperature, which definitely helps in terms of like breakouts and like acne and inflammation and all that. But at the end of the day, cooling of the skin doesn't really matter too much to me. It also claims to be like kind of oil controlling, a little bit. I don't really use this for that. I tried it, but like my oiliness was only, you know, it was controlled a little bit. It's SPF 50 PA+++, so I don't know, I just like it does brighten. I'm gonna say brighten my skin just a tiny bit. So I do like to use this all over, all the way even down to my neck, because one, I don't really like putting foundation on my neck, so it helps keep me from doing that. But it kind of just evens out, you know, the overall skin tone a little bit. I do take it to the back of my neck a little bit because, as you guys have seen, when I do turn around, you can see that the back of my neck is more tan, simply because I guess the sun just hits the back of my neck more, and it just doesn't want to like lighten up like the rest of my body, which is fine. I don't really care. I know it bothers a lot of other people. I don't know why, but yeah, it's just a really easy overall cushion because I kind of just like pat it on. I don't have to like, you know, put it on like sunscreen. These are some eye products that I've been really into lately. I've been really into just like applying. I actually have like the Modern Renaissance palette on my eyes right now. This month I've been really into like liquid eye tints, I guess you would call them. Really just liquid shadows. This is one from Makeup Face. I still have to make a review, like a brand overview, but they have 4 liquid eyeshadows. 2 of them are kind of like, don't even bother with them. But this is one of the 2 that I do like. This is the eye gloss. It's just number 4, I forgot the name. It's just a really pretty, oh, do you see that? Oh lord. It's a very thin, watery formula, but as long as you, I do have to like keep my eyes like this for a little bit until it dries, but when it dries, it does not come off. So I like this, and it's cooling. Again, don't really care about the cooling thing, but it's cooling. This is the Eco Soul Water Eye Tint from the Sam. I kind of went, you know, I met up with Sunny Daihe, and she kind of was just like, oh, the Sam. So I was like, oh, I want to go to the Sam. So I went there, and they have a lot of stuff, but because I really only have their concealers, I was too like kind of overwhelmed by the thought of trying to just pick up a bunch of new stuff. So, you know, I saw these, I was like, oh, I'll try them out. And I realized when I came back home that I actually have another one. I can't find it though. But there's this one, and maybe I'll insert a little clip of it. But there's this one, there's like a kind of burgundy shade. And I realized when I got home that I actually have 2 Pony Effect liquid eyeshadows that are exactly the same color, so whatever. But these are much, much cheaper. I wouldn't say they're as long lasting. If I put them on my bare lid, they kind of break down throughout the day. But if I do prime my eyes or I powder my eyes prior, they pretty much stay the same. So they're not as long lasting as the Pony Effect ones. And actually the applicator, it looks like it would be a good applicator, but the fuzzies on this little doe foot applicator are a little bit thinner, so it's much harder on the eyes, and so I don't get as much pigment. You see how it's a little bit like it's just not even in terms of pigmentation. So what I like to do is like I really like get shit on the brush. I take it off on the back of my hand, and then I just use a brush. I like coat the brush and I like apply it, and I find that way I get, oh my god, do you see that? Do you see that right there? It's already running out of product. Whatever, it was like what? It's not, it's like $5 or $6, so I don't really mind. But as long as I like prep, let me blend it out. That's what it looks like. As long as I prep my eyelids prior to applying it, it stays a decent amount of time. It doesn't fade too much. Oh, here's another Makeup Face item. It's the, I forgot what it's called. C-Cup Deep Volume Lip Tox. And this is actually, it looks like what would be like, I don't know, a lip gloss or a kind of lip treatment. But this is actually one of those lip plumping, I guess lip glosses, I guess? More like a lip treatment. It's supposed to like plump the lips. And the first time I used it, I could feel like a stinging, and my lips were like, it's almost like, you know, when you eat spicy food and your lips get big. It's basically that kind of effect, but in like a lip treatment form. So, I mean, you don't have to like eat spicy food to get the effect of this. I do like the shape of it. The shape of it is actually meant to help, you know, apply to the top and bottom lip really easily and get a good amount of product. I love the fact that I can just use it as like, if I don't want to put anything on my lips, but I want something on my lips, I can use that and just, you know, apply. It makes my lips look much smoother, definitely. Because my lips, because my lips are dry, they do kind of like crinkle up, like, you know, in SpongeBob is in like before he got like that water helmet to go into Sandy's little dome, he was like all wrinkly. That's what my lips are basically, and that helps keep it a little more plump. I don't know if it's because my lips got used to it, but the effect, or maybe I'm just like not noticing it as much, but the effect, I don't really notice the plumping effect too much lately, but I do use it before I do all of my makeup, and by the time I get to my lips are all smooth and plumped out and things. If you guys remember, a long time ago, I used to be really into the Innisfree No Sebum Primer. I would use it all the time to help with like the porous parts of my skin, like the center of my face. And you know, I stopped using it because I ran out of it, but I picked up this one from I'm Mimi. The I'm Mimi Primer. Yeah, matte. It's just the matte primer. And it's pretty much the same exact thing, but I don't know what it is, but the like pore concealing abilities of this one are much stronger. Like I just noticed, like whatever I put it, like whatever area of my skin I put on top of, it just, everything disappears. Like I don't know how they do it, but I guess if you want like an alternative to like maybe the Benefit Professional, this would be a really good one. And it does help my oiliness a little bit, not too much, but definitely not as oily as if I had not used it. Time for some lip stuff. This Makeup Face One Day Water Volume Lip Ink in number 5, no makeup. Lately I've been doing a lot of guys makeup, just my friends. And whenever I want something on their lips, to add some color to the lips, because sometimes if you put like makeup all over but you leave the lips out, you can look a little bit dead. I like to put this one up because just like the name suggests, it literally looks like a natural pink flush to the lips. If you've seen those people that have like really pretty, just natural pink, light pink lips, not light, but just like, you know what I mean. This is basically that color. It's kind of like a, how do you describe this formula? It's like a lip tint, but it has a bit more like meat to it. It's not like a thin, watery formula that stains your lips. You kind of apply it to the lips, and at first you kind of have to smooth it out, but when you let it sit for a little bit, it kind of like flattens out and like smooths out your lips, and like it stains it a little bit. So even if you like wipe off, you still have a little bit of color left, but what I really like about this is that it's just a really pretty everyday sort of color. In fact, this formula, I have all the other colors, but this formula is like a really good formula. So they have a lot of other pretty colors, but because the brand is based around like more natural makeup, like the craziest color they have is like a deep red. So I will have a review on all the colors, but this is a really pretty, like, if maybe especially for those people that have kind of grayish lips that look like they're kind of dead, I think this would be a really pretty, like, you just put it on in the morning and you don't have to worry about your color. Next are the I'm Mimi tints. This is the glossy version and this is the matte version. I have swatch videos on both. This formula is really, because I'm so used to just like regular tints being like kind of like matte-ish or a little bit glossy, but these are like super glossy formulas, and I love how they just make the lips look really like vitalized because there's that bit of sheen to them, and I think the colors are really fucking pretty. So I have like my deeper thoughts in that swatch video, so you should watch this. And then I've got the matte version. This really reminds me a lot of the Peri Pera Velvet lip tints. They're just a little bit slightly thicker in formula. Other than that, they're not that different, to be honest. The applicator is just a little bit different. So again, my thoughts on these are in that swatch video. So Joan invited me to this Gesgep event. Gesgep is the new brand from the brand Sun & Park. The creators made like their own brand, which they have full control of. And Joan invited me to the launch party, and at the event, we got to create our own palette, which is like the whole concept of, like, you can buy these products individually. They have highlighters, contour, blush, eyeshadows, face products that are all separate, but they do, you can take them out of the pans and put them in this G palette. And for us, we did get to choose whatever we want for free. So I made sure I picked what I thought I would really like. I don't like every product in here, but the hit product that I do like in this palette is the concealer. This concealer, even actually, I used it on my mom and she was surprised by it. The color, like, my arm is a little bit lighter than my face, but The color is like an exact color match, and I think it has a lot to do with that. It has, like, I know I'm really yellow, but I do have a bit of an olive undertone, and this hits the spot. There's actually only two colors in their concealer line, which is unfortunate because I love the formula so much, but it's kind of like a moisturizing formula. And the thing is, with some moisturizing concealers, it tends to lack in the coverage department in favor of moisture, but this one, like, even just like, my dark circles are gone. And I think especially with the color that it is, it really like actually conceals my eyes. So actually there were several days where I tried just using this concealer on my face. Beautiful. So what I liked about this palette was that I could take this out. Like, I remember being late for something and I just took this palette and I was able to pretty much do a very basic face with this palette, but the star product of this is definitely the concealer. And also, it stays on the skin, so it adheres really well. So, you know, because it's more moisturizing, it does crease a little bit under my eyes, but it doesn't really matter because I kind of just pat it out or I smooth it out, and it doesn't like come off. It kind of just stays where it is. I just have to smooth it out. So this concealer, unfortunately, it's only sold online in Korea. So I wish you guys could get your hands on it, and hopefully they will end up selling it overseas. But for now, if you can somehow get it in Korea, I definitely would recommend it. If you're a similar skin tone to me, definitely recommend it. Love this concealer. These other products are more okay for me, so I'll be talking about that a little later in the okay products part of this video. I've been really into this Etude House Personal Color Contouring palette lately. I obviously got this a while ago, but it just has a lot of, I've been really into, like, because it's summertime now, my skin is getting a little bit more tan, so a lot of my foundations will be a little bit too light sometimes. So what I like to do is take these colors, especially this color, around the outside of my face. This one mostly on like the cheeks because it's almost sort of like blushy kind of bronzing color. But just adding these around the outer parts of my face really helps bring it all together, so it doesn't just look like there's a stark like light color than like my tan skin here. Blush in here is a really fucking pretty like natural flush for the cheeks. It doesn't push too much to one certain color. And the two highlights in here, this one is actually more of like a brightening powder, so I do like to use it under my eyes because, as you can already see, because I only have the H+ healing cream on, which I'm allowed, it's the only thing I'm allowed to have on right now. My dark circles they're pretty fucking obvious. So using the brightening powder under my eyes helps brighten that area. And then the highlighter, it's not like a crazy highlighter. It's actually more of like a, you even say that these lights are so bright. It's more on the natural side, which is fine. It still gives me enough of a pop. So like, you know, I get, yes, highlight, yes, beam, glow, whatever, but it's not like stark and unnatural. And because all these colors come in one palette, they all work together. And I just like the fact that the formula is super buttery, super smooth, super easy to blend. It's super pigmented. They do have a cream one, but I'm not really about it. I guess if it's like winter and you have dry skin, maybe that will work for you. Now, I know the name of this thing is called Hit Shits, and I guess She Lives, so I guess She Lives would be last, but I think it would make more sense to talk about the okay products of this month now, and have the shitty products at the end. And these products I'm going to be talking about, they're not bad at all. I actually liked all of these, most of these, but either there's something about them that was just okay, or I would definitely recommend it for someone of like a different skin type. First, I'm going to talk about the rest of the Sunjung line. The emulsion, it's good. Like, it's not a bad product at all. It's just that I think if you're going to be applying that toner 7 times, I think that's enough moisture. I think if you have dry skin, maybe find like topping off the rest of your topping that toner off with this, you know, it'll be okay. But I kind of just think it's like not a necessary product. I mean, it's cute to have, but I guess if you're using the 7-step toner thing still, maybe in the winter, and you can use this if it's still not enough, I think it'll be useful for that. But again, it's just a basic emulsion, really good for, like, this whole line is good for sensitive skin. Again, it's not bad, it's just that I don't think it's super necessary, especially for my oily skin. Next in line is the Shika Balm, and Shika Balms, every brand has them out, but I really don't know what they're for exactly. Just from the description, they all say like, oh, good for damaged skin. So I guess there's ingredients in there to help repair damaged skin. I don't know exactly what though, but it's just like a really thick, like I guess the emulsion, but much more thick, like a balmy texture. So if you have extremely dry skin, I guess you could do like the toner thing and then top this off, or you can use it at night for kind of repairing whatever like your skin had to go through during the day, especially if you live in a climate that's there's a lot of like pollution or something. And then the 2X Barrier Intensive Cream. This one especially confused me the most. I don't know what it's for, and it's weird because it's almost like a cross between the emulsion and the Sheikah Balm. It's thicker than the emulsion, but not as thick as the Sheikah Balm, but you can definitely feel it like on the skin, and you kind of have to blend it in because you can see it on top of the skin. And what I've come to the conclusion is, I think, and I'm probably just judging it based on like my experience with it and the name Barrier Cream, I think this is one of those things that you put at the very end of your skincare, like maybe at night or something, to seal everything in, so your skin is getting the most benefits. So I think if you're one of those people that, you know, likes to layer their skincare, you have essences, ampules, oils, creams, and all that, and you want to seal everything in, this would be a good product, because I kind of just take a tiny amount, kind of rub it between my fingers, then I'll pat it into the skin, kind of swipe and then pat it, and that will like seal all of the ingredients in it. And I noticed the next morning that, I don't know, it just, my skincare seems like it was more effective almost, and I'm left with more of like a glow. Like, it doesn't matter too much in the morning because I'm gonna wash my face anyway, so I don't know. If you have it, I think if you're looking for something like that, that would be a good option. Next is the Pony Effect Mattifying Blur Packed. I ran out of the loose powder version, so I picked this one up to try the pressed version, and I think I like the loose powder more. In general, I think I like loose powders more than pressed powders, but this isn't bad at all. It's just I think because I like the loose powder version, this is in this category. It's not a bad product. I would definitely use it as a final finishing kind of powder, not really to set my foundation. I actually prefer to set my foundation with a light layer powder foundation and then finish everything off with this, and it probably sounds like it ended up being really cakey, but it's not. This really smooths out, of course, like the name suggests. It like blurs out my pores. I just take a big ass fluffy powder brush, kind of roll it in there and tap it across my face, and it will pretty much set everything. And if you really need to like conceal like those pores and fine lines, the puff that it comes with is really soft and cushiony. I really like it, but I just like kind of go in like this, and I like really press it into the skin, and that will really set the foundation in. But I guess because I already use a powder foundation, I don't need that much, so I kind of just, you know. Oh, if I do use like the puff and press into the skin that way, I do make sure I buff my skin with a powder brush as well to, you know, that whole buffing method. All right, and last but not least for this category is the La Biote Classic Made Fitting Cushion. I have a review on this. This was actually my video from yesterday. It's claims to be 25-hour matte formula. It has like powder, one of those powder formulas. And here's the thing, I didn't like it because my oily skin caused the foundation to break up and look really ugly on the skin, even within the first few hours, which is surprising because even other foundations will last at least 4 or 5 hours before it turns into what this turns into on my skin in 2 or 3 hours. And it's sad because I love the finish of this. It looked really pretty, but it's just okay. I think I definitely would recommend it for normal skin or combination skin. And I would definitely set it because it worked much better for me when I used primer, powder, and all that, like the whole mess, but alone I didn't really like it. So I would definitely recommend to people that have oily or combination skin. I think people with those skin types would fare better, and you probably wouldn't need as many products on the skin. It would work much better alone. In the review video, I said that if you have dry skin, I would still kind of recommend it because I feel like if my skin wasn't oily, it would remain looking the same throughout the day. But I think if you have dry skin, as long as you moisturize really well, I think it would work for you. But in the comments, there was someone that said that, oh, my friend used it and she fucking hates it. So I don't know. If you're interested in this, I would definitely recommend looking up other reviews on it. All right, so back to this palette. Other than the concealer, I got a highlighter and 3 eyeshadows. The highlighter, it's okay. I'm gonna have a video showing you like a look using this whole palette. Very similar actually to the ColourPop eyeshadows and highlighters. It's like a bouncy, creamy powder. Probably can't see it, but do you see that? Right there. And when I first watched this at the event with Joe, I was like, oh my god, yes, Slay, look at that highlight, yes! But putting it on my face, it's actually it comes off more as like a very natural highlight. And I think it has enough shimmer. I don't even want to call it shimmer because it's almost like a really thin shimmer. It's not glitter, it's like a thin shimmer that really gives, rather than just like, oh, powder highlight, it's more of like a moisturized highlight sort of look, I guess, but a little bit more punch. It's such a weird description, but that's how it looks to me. And you know, I can just use this with my fingers. Like in general, this whole palette, I tend to just use my fingers. I'll use the concealer, then I'll put this highlight on the tops of my cheeks, you know, the highlight points. But what I've been into is using this with like a synthetic concealer brush and applying it to the center of my nose right here, inner corner and like my brow, like a little bit of brow bone that I have, and it looks it's really pretty that way. And I noticed with a synthetic brush, I get much more of a pop than even with my fingers, which is weird because a lot of times, you know, us beauty gurus like to swatch things. We use our fingers to get the max amount of pigment, but it's probably not enough. But from what I've noticed using the synthetic brush, like on these small areas, I get much more of like a pop. It's like a wet sort of highlight almost. Overall, it's an okay highlighter to me, but in that way, like around the eyes, I love using it that way. The eyeshadows, I was a little disappointed by. They're kind of powdery. This one right here, it's supposed to be, it's like a lavender, a very pale lavender shade. It's a little bit chalky. A little bit, like, if I put it on bare lids, it kind of, like, you look at it, it's like kind of patchy looking. It fares a little bit better. Okay, the lasting power on these is not that great. They kind of fade off throughout the day, so I have to use a primer with them. I don't think it's this eyeshadows. I think it's because of the color. I feel like really pale white-based shades tend to just be like that. So I don't really use this that often. This shade is a really pretty, like, plummy brown. And I use that on the outer corners. I don't know, it just adds definition to my eyes, and I really like this shade. So this is kind of a shade I tend to gravitate towards anyway. But again, the lasting power is okay. But it's definitely much more blendable, slightly more pigmented than this color. But I think it's a really pretty like daily shade. Like you kind of just put all over the eyelids, and you'll be great with that. This color is how do you describe this? This is kind of like a pinky coral sort of shade, and I kind of use this all over the lid. It's in focus now. I use this all over the lid, and then I'll use this to add definition. And like it's a pretty like not too shimmery. It's supposed to be like a shimmer shade, but it's more of like a glow. But it is a little bit more on the patchy, dry looking side of like shimmers. So I would probably, you know, I should have tried it that way, like wetting the brush. Maybe it would fare better that way. I don't know. These are really expensive eyeshadows. There's like I think they're $20 each, but they don't seem like $20 eyeshadows. You definitely get a lot. That's like a lot of eyeshadow, to be honest. And the pan is quite deep. But I don't really gravitate, like, with these two together and with the eye primer, I like them, but alone, they're kind of okay. They're medium. They almost remind me of, like, pony effect eyeshadows. I did try them on my mom's eyes, though. Her eyes are a little bit wrinkly, and they actually worked really well that way. And, again, just these two colors came out with a really pretty looking eyeshadow. So I think, like, on a mature skin, those would be pretty. But in general, like, I didn't see anything crazy. Like, I was looking at, like, the guy was, like, holding all of the eyeshadows, and, like, they were like okay, like there was no like crazy colors, which is you know some people like just very wearable, natural, everyday colors. So yeah, I don't know. They're just okay because the quality is just like all right. Then last but not least, we have the shit of the month, the Clio Nudism water grip cushion. It was viral in Korea, so I was really excited to try it, but I ended up being really disappointed by it. I have a review on this. It's been a while since I used this, so I don't exactly remember what I said, but I just remember not liking it at all. I was very disappointed by how it looked throughout the day. I hate... That looks so gross, but I'll go watch that review if you're happen to be interested in this cushion. But for me, with my oily skin, again, it's probably because of my oily skin and, you know, my skin being this oily in the summer, but it just broke down really quickly throughout the day. And also, I think it's because the color was too light for me. I'm using ginger in Clio foundation, but that one was way too light. And at no point throughout the day, when I was wearing it alone, at no point throughout the day I was oh no, my skin was like popping, yes. It just looked like makeup on my skin after a few hours, and which is ironic because it claims to be like undetectable. And it's sad for me because I was just really excited. I was disappointed because, you know, a lot of people fucking liked it. It was viral in Korea, you know what I mean? It was supposed to work out for me. So those are my hit shits and okay products of May. I hope you guys found that useful. Again, I'm going to be in New York in June, so check out the announcement video that I posted for information on that. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.